Good day, everyone. So, this is my reflection on Episode 1, FS2 Learners' Diversity Development Characteristics, Needs, and Interests. Number 1. While you were observing the learners, did you recall your own experiences when you were their age? What similarities or differences do you have with the learners you observed? When I observe the learners, I remember my own childhood. Like them, I was a naughty child. I enjoy playing all of the time and walking throughout our classroom. I also enjoyed talking with my classmates and playing inside the room. Like them, I'm also fond of answering in class recitations. For me, class recitation is very much important to test myself if I really understand what our teacher taught to us. The differences that we have is that I have this attitude that I love to sit in front of the class because I love listening to my teacher's discussion. Unlike the students, I observe they love sitting on the back. Number 2. Think of a teacher you cannot forget for positive or negative reasons. How did he help or not help you with your needs? Physical, emotional, social, and cognitive. How did it affect you? Mrs. Salvacion Cordova was my elementary school teacher during my years at Mambugsay Elementary School, and she's the one I'll never forget. She taught me how to be a strong and a better person. She gave me advice when I have problems in life. She is the most excellent teacher I've ever had. She helps me a lot academically and emotionally. She has a strong personality and a caring heart for her students. This made me a better person. Number 3. Share your other insights here. As I finished this chapter, I learned that there are many factors that contribute to the development of a child, from physical, mental, social, and cognitive theory, which involves the learner on how they'll be able to cope up with their people around him or her environment. Okay, let's go now to Episode 3. Focus on gender, needs, strengths, interests, experiences, language, race, culture, religion, socio-economic status, difficult circumstances, and indigenous people. How did you feel being in that classroom? Did you feel a sense of oneness or unity among the learners and between the teacher and the learner? When I am in the classroom, I felt very awkward because some of the students are looking at me. I had the impression that some of them did not cooperate or participate in activities because they simply listened. Everything is silent because some of them are quiet, but many of them have a good interaction between students and teachers. Recall the time when you were in elementary or high school. Recall the high and low achievement in your class. How did your teacher deal with differences, inabilities? Was your teacher effective? When I was in elementary school, my teacher was always fair to us. She is very effective and approachable because she assisted us with things that were difficult for us. She also provides additional examples to help us understand the topic. She is not a quitter. She will not stop discussing until the entire class understands her lesson. What disposition and traits will you need as a future teacher to meet the needs of the learners? As a future educator, I will never forget my desire to ensure that all of the lessons are understood by the students. It is impossible to deny that there are learners who are both slow and fast, but it is not enough if only a few can fully understand it. It must be the class as a whole because they all deserve equal rights and treatment. What new things did you learn about indigenous people? After watching the video, I've learned that there are numerous factors that affect students' performance in class. So teachers and parents of these students should be aware of these challenges and as much as possible find a way to at least solve the problem. For example, the students are greatly impacted by a lack of food. What did you appreciate most from your experience in visiting the school with indigenous learners? Why? I admire the teachers for their determination to teach the students no matter what the circumstances are. I appreciate their effort to travel just to teach the students, and most importantly, they never give up on helping these students achieving their goals. Teachers, they believe, are the only heroes who can assist students in asserting their educational rights. For indigenous learners, as a future teacher, I promise be open to and respect indigenous people by mindful and respectful to my choice of words, letting them express their opinion about the lesson even if it is bound with their beliefs and they give a respectful regards to it. Advocates for indigenous people's education by willingly accepting indigenous students to blend in class, provide them inclusive learning environment, freedom of expression, respect, enjoyment, and free from discrimination. Okay, let's go now to episode 4, Learner Diversity, the Community, and Home Environment. Reflect on your own development as a child. What type of parenting did you experience? How did it affect you? For me, the parenting style I've experienced is authoritarian. When I was a child, my parents are always keep reminding me of the rules in our house. They give me advice to not go with friends who are bad influence because it can harm my future. The way they taught me affects my studies in the sense that instead of going out with friends, I'd rather choose to work with my school activities and focus on my studies. I'm blessed to have them because they are guiding me to be a successful one someday. As a future teacher, how would you establish good home-school collaboration? How can you work well with your parents? How can you help them? How can they help you? By observing the behavior of the learner in my class, I was able to establish good home-school collaboration. I would be responsible enough for their attitude. Parent has an important role in their child's learning development. If I will become a teacher, someday I will choose to call up the attention of every parents that have a seminar in regards to their children's needs, psychologically and emotionally. Episode 5. Imagine yourself organizing your classroom in the future. In what grade year level do you see yourself? What routines and procedures would you consider for this level? Why? When I visualize myself organizing my classroom in the future, I picture myself dealing with pupils in grade 1. If I'm dealing with grade 1 students, I will use routines or procedures that are appropriate for the age group. For example, when the class begins, I will teach them to pray first before doing anything else. And I will hint that there will be a storytelling session to their interest before gradually moving on the subject matter in a way that they will not feel threatened but rather enjoy. I could also use dance routine and singing a song to get the students' energy up. I also provide a few minutes for rest because the students will become tired as time and activities pass. Minutes of rest will assist them in regaining their strength. Make a list of the rules you are likely to implement in this level. Why would you choose these rules? First, uniform of the students should be worn properly. Second, school ID should always be present. Third, boys should observe proper haircut. Fourth, boys and girls should observe proper hygiene all the times. And lastly, the students should raise their hands if they want to say something. I choose this regulation so that students will be clean and orderly, and so that they will be able to take responsibility for their own well-being. I'd also like to develop classroom togetherness and positive bond between myself and the children. Should learners be involved in making the class rules? Why? Yes, for the reason that they will be the one that came from these rules and will adhere to them. They should be aware of these restrictions as well, so that they are aware of their limitations. Episode 6. Reflect on the various classroom rules set by the resource teacher. Will you have the same rules? If not, what rules are you going to employ? Explain your answer. Each of us has different ideas on how we are going to make rules in our class. As a teacher, you of course need to establish general rules of conduct for your classroom. So these are the list of my rules. First, treat others as you would like to be treated. Second, respect other people and their property. Third, laugh with anyone but laugh at no one. Fourth, be responsible for your own learning. Fifth, come to class and hand in assignments on time. And lastly, do not disturb people who are working. Okay, so that would be all. I am Mary J. Lopez. Thank you and God bless.